Hello everyone. So Ashes is a migration drama that carries strong emotional themes and an impressive lead performance but struggle to transform those elements into a fully engaging cinematic experience. Directed by Diego Luna, the film premiered at the Cannes Film Festival's special screening section and follows Lucila, a young Mexican woman trying to survive in Madrid while carrying the emotional scars of displacement, fractured family ties and a cultural alienation. Sorry, while the film clearly aims to tell a deeply human story about identity and belonging, its uneven storytelling keeps it from reaching the emotional height it constantly gestures towards. At the center of the film is Lucila, played by Ana Diaz, who delivers the movie's strongest aspect by far. Lucila works as a nanny and food delivery driver while also caring for her troubled young brother Diego after the two moved to Spain with their mother years earlier. From the beginning, Lucila feels emotionally trapped between two worlds. She doesn't fully belong in Spain, yet her connection to Mexico has always become distant and fractured over time. That internal conflict forms the emotional backbone of the story. Ana Diaz gives a remarkable layered performance. She brings energy, vulnerability, frustration, sensuality, and grief into nearly every scene, often carrying emotional moments almost single handedly. Even when the screenplay leaves important gaps in characterization or narrative structure, Diaz manages to make Lucilla feel alive and emotionally authentic. You understand her exhaustion, loneliness, and quiet anger, even when the film itself struggles to communicate those emotions clearly. Unfortunately, Ashes suffer heavily from fragmented storytelling. The film jumps through time and emotional development so quickly that many important moments fail to properly land. Early scenes involving Lucilla and her brother being abandoned emotionally by their mother should carry devastating weight, but the film rushes past them before viewers can fully absorb their impact. Instead of allowing relationship and conflicts to naturally develop, the screenplay often introduces critical information abruptly through scattered conversation and brief exchanges. This creates a frustrating viewing experience when audiences are constantly trying to piece together emotional context after the fact. Major developments happen, but instead of building towards them naturally, the films drop them into the narrative almost randomly. The result is a story that feels emotionally incomplete despite dealing with deeply emotional subject matter. The film also struggles to balance its multiple storylines. Lucila's romantic life, her work as an au pair, her delivery job, her social circle of immigrant women, and her complicated family relationship all compete for attention, but very few of those threads receive enough depth to feel fully realized. The film keeps moving from one situation to another without spending enough time exploring the emotional consequences of any of them. Adrina Paz as Lucila's mother gives a restrained performance, but the direction often sidelines her emotionally and visually. There's a strange sense of distance in how Luna frames her character, as though the film itself cannot decide how central she should be to Lucila's wife. Because of that, one of the story's most important relationship never develops the emotional complexity it needs. Visually, the film has moments of realism and intimacy, especially when focusing closely on Lucila's daily struggle as an immigrant worker in Madrid. Luna clearly understands how to capture the emotion in actors' faces, frequently letting the camera linger on Diaz during moment of quiet vulnerability. But outside of those intimate character moments, the filmmaking lacks confidence and structure. Scenes often drift without momentum, and the editing gives the film a repetitive and then this happened rhythm rather than a cohesive emotional progression. The final act attempts to shift the film towards a larger reflection on the meaning of home and identity as Lucila returns to Mexico for a family gathering. Conceptually, this direction makes sense, especially for a story about migration and emotional displacement. However, the transition arrives too late and feels disconnected from everything that came before it. Instead of serving as an emotional culmination, it feels like the beginning of a different film entirely. What ultimately keeps Ashes watchable is Anna Diaz's performance. She gives emotional shape to scenes that otherwise might have flat, and constantly grounds the story in something human and relatable. Her portrayal of a young woman carrying the invincible emotional weight of a migration, responsibility, and fractured belonging remains compelling even when the narrative loses focus. In the end, Ashes feels like a film with powerful ideas but an underdeveloped execution. Diego Luna succeeds at drawing strong performance from his cast, particularly from Anna Diaz, but the storytelling itself feels fragmented, emotionally distant, and structurally uneven. The themes of migration, family, identity, and displacement remains relevant and moving. Yet the film never fully connects those ideas into a satisfying emotional journey. It's a thoughtful but frustrating drama that leaves audiences admiring the performance more than the film surrounding them. Thank you for watching. Bye.